Hey, Shalom, all praise, glory, and honor be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, though unto the elder apostles of great millstone. Salutations to the brothers that teach the truth and sincerity. This is Bun Yum Yun, Great Millstone, Mississippi, here in Nashville, Tennessee, going to visit the infamous Andrew Jackson's home slash plantation, all right? He called it the Hermitage. And when you look up that word Hermitage, it goes back to kind of like a hermit crab when it goes into its shell, so to speak. This would be his solo getaway, all right? But that's impossible because Andrew Jackson had over 140 slaves, all right? So-called blacks, so-called African Americans, all right, which were Israelites, all right? The Andrew Jackson Hermitage. So I'm gonna continue down here. And then, most high willing, through the Spirit, I'll be able to get access and get images, get video, whatever the case may be, through the Spirit of Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so with that, see you on the other side. Shalom. The Indian Removal Act of 1830. Quote from Andrew: "They and my white children are too near to each other to live in harmony and peace. Their father, Native Americans, their father has provided a country large enough for them all." Okay. As President, Andrew Jackson advocated and signed the Indian Removal Act, which passed in Congress by a small margin after intense debate. Although the controversial law did not order the physical removal of Indians, it established removal as policy and authorized the U.S. to negotiate treaties for relocation, covering all costs of travel and resettlement. All right, that's the craftiness of the so-called white man. All right, to cover the cost for travel and resettlement. So if you cover the cost for travel and resettlement, what do we have the Trail of Tears for? Why were 1 out of 4 North American Indians killed going along that path, man? All right. So this is further proof that the so-called white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And the so-called white race is going to be judged, okay, for the so-called sins of their fathers, man. All right. Hey, Shalom, on location at the Hermitage, the house of slave owner and 7th president of the so-called United States of America. All right, on site of his plantation, right now at the forefront of his mansion. All right, so we get a better glimpse as we get near. All right, but this president, the 7th president of the United States, okay, who held captive the children of Israel, all right, who was a main partaker in the Indian Removal Act, okay, Andrew Jackson, a horrible, evil, wicked man, all right, with a horrible, wicked, evil soul, who looked at the so-called Israelites, well, who looked at the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as an inferior people, man. But the Most High is gonna reverse the roles, because the Most High is gonna make the head the tail and the tail the head, man. The so-called white man has had this opportunity to rule in absolute and complete wickedness. The Most High is gonna set up and establish his people in righteousness, man, in the kingdom that is for to come. All praise, power, and the glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, as we proceed. Shalom. Although we went through hardcore bondage and slavery, okay, under the hands of the so-called white man, the Most High is going to comfort us, all right, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. The Most High is going to redeem his people. The elect of the Most High are going to be saved from the destruction that is for to come, and the Most High is going to destroy 2/3 of our people, okay? And like I aforementioned, I'm standing directly in front of the mansion upon the plantation of Andrew Jackson, okay? The 7th president of the United States of America, all right? Who was a slaveholder, man, all right? Who deemed you feeble, undesired people, who deemed the natives as savages, okay? Who was the progenitor, okay, or one of the direct hands of the so-called Trail of Tears, man. He caused that. All right. And I have a few scriptures here in the book of Isaiah, chapter 65, starting at 19. And I will rejoice in Jerusalem and joy in my people, okay? And the voice of weeping shall be no more heard in her, nor the voice of crying. And that's what you people do nowadays, man. In all your cities and in your so-called dwellings in the U.S. and abroad. You're crying out in Venezuela, against oppression. You're crying out, against corruption. You're crying out against hunger. You're crying out against oppression. You're crying out against not not being equal. All right. But the day gonna come when the Most High is gonna wipe the tears from your eyes. The day's gonna come, you're gonna cry out to the Most High and say, the water Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. You're gonna thank him. All right. Because he is our salvation. He is our caregiver. He is our judge. He is our Lord. He's our creator. He's our Father. Okay. I'm gonna continue. Isaiah 65 and 20. There shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that hath not filled his days, for the child shall die 100 years old. But the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. And they shall build houses and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and eat the fruit thereof, the fruit of them. Okay? They shall not build and another inhabit, they shall not plant and another eat. For as the days of a tree are the days of my people, and mine elect shall long enjoy the work of their hands. All right. So the slaves that built this mansion here that you see right here, all right, the slaves that planted these trees, that tilled this ground, that's going to be a recompense. But that recompense comes from the Lord. That recompense coming from Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Yahweh meaning the Most High God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh. All right, not Dios, not God, not Jehovah, okay? And his son Yahweh Shai, okay? Whose name is not Jesus, not Jesus, not Yeshua, none of that, all right? Then even if you pay attention here, it's further proof that the so-called white man is the Greeks and the Romans. Because if you look at these pillars upon this house, right? If you check out these pillars, even the diagram stated that these pillars were to replicate ancient Grecian society. See if I can get it. All right, so with that, on to the next one. Hey, Shalom. And what you see here is the rear of Andrew Jackson's mansion. All right. And this is what you call the work yard. We're on site at what Esau called the work yard. Okay. The world behind the mansions. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk over here to one of the slave cabins to see if I can get a peek inside to get a view of what it looked like. According to Esau, a 20 by 20 foot cabin is sufficient, for a slave. Esau's so weird.
They didn't know what else to do. And Jackson absolutely permeated. While he was president, they dug the balloon out. It came up near the surface of the skin, but there was no anesthetic. What's interesting, though, the guy who shot him, he and Jackson later became friends.
And this right here will hold a family of 5+ individuals.
A United States senator from Missouri.
And next door, if you see that door there,
Benton,
it's another family.
Thomas Hart Benton, who was Jackson's
So I'm going to branch away from Esau and proceed. And on this plantation, Esau, Andrew Jackson, he had over 140 slaves. Okay. So I believe this is the good time to do a walk and talk and bring out a few scriptures preferably in the book of Joel, the third chapter, and I'll start at verse 1. Okay. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations that will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, Jehoshaphat, the place of the Most High's judgment, Yahweh's judgment, okay, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And that's why you so-called Negroes don't have a place of your own. That's why you have no heritage, because you were scattered amongst the land of your enemy. That's why you've been oppressed by the so-called white man, known as Esau in the Bible. Verse 3, and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they may drink. Okay, and that's what happened, because these slave quarters were for Israelites. They were for none other nation. And then as I was passing through, Esau was looking at some images of some slaves and saw a slave smiling and had the audacity to say, well, he looks like a happy slave. You know, only a demon would make a statement like that. All right. But when the time when Jacob rises up and Esau has to pay, there won't be such statements being made. All right. They're going to be pleading, please, no, don't do it. Don't do it. You know, it's going to be a lot of Nat turning going on. All right. So I'm going to cross over and go over to these quarters too. You know what? I think I'll just stay recording. It shouldn't take me long to get over there. But yeah, so through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, you know, the Most High has it set up to where the prophets in these last days are bringing out his true word. All right. And right now I'm on, you know, I'm walking where slaves walk. I'm in an area where actual slaves were, you know, and we all know it. And we all can say, yeah, you know, the so-called white man had Judah in slavery. He killed the Native American Indians. He slaughtered out the Hispanics. You know, we can all say that. But to touch these houses, to see these houses, to see the pride of the so-called white man, because inside his mansion, his whole theme is straight Grecian. All of his wall paintings are straight out the Greco-Roman Empire. Pillars, ponds, you know, everything is straight Grecian, man. Proving that these are those same people, the enemies of Israel. So I'm gonna get another recording here. And then we'll cut. All right. This is you. All right, so-called Negroes. But not only you Negroes, you Latinos and Native Americans, you all were held captive by this devil. The slave interior. So these are the quarters, man. And you gotta understand, this isn't no studio apartment. This wasn't a one bedroom house for a bachelor, man. Because when Jake had kids, man. This was a household of a father, of a mother, you know, and 5 to 10 kids, man. My grandparents had 12 to 14 kids when they lived. And these are double family homes, man. A 20 by 20 house. Let's see what this is. You know, I'm just trying to get a video and glimpse of everything while, you know, not making this too long. And the headspace in this house, man, you have to duck to get up underneath the beams. Look how close I am to it, man. And these are the conditions. That's where the second family lived. All right. But he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Hear the patience and the faith of the saints. And this is what you call a freshwater stream. Spring. This is what the Gadites used as a water supply before the so-called white man came along and took their land from them. After the so-called white man took their land from them, that's when he utilized this spring, okay, for his household use and purposes, and for also for the slaves. And this whole establishment for Esau's date goes back to 1819 when Andrew Jackson first built this house. Okay, and he didn't become president until 1828, and he served out 2 terms. Okay, ended his term in 1837. So this is just a view. Of Hermitage, the edification is there and it's made.